Hello everybody! Today we'll be going to Batak City where our farming adventure begins. We are pretty much excited to reach there since it's raining today. And if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you could change your mind later. Enjoy! Let me introduce to you my sister and my mom. We have reached Batak City, where our dad will drive the truck full of fresh corn. These fresh corns at the back of the truck are for our cows in the farm. We will be following our dad in a moment. Now we are following our dad to our farm. Suddenly, it started raining cats and dogs. We were slightly scared since my mom is the one who's driving the car.
Hi there everyone, now it's my time to talk. In the Philippines, the rainy season starts from June to the early part of October. We are considered blessed in farming when it rains. Our pasture land will eventually become cleaner. We depend on monsoon rain, and it is very essential for our crops and ruminant animals. In Ilocos Norte, crops were grown based on the irrigation process. And by mid of September, this is the start of our harvest. We see the reward of the growing season. And life of a farmer is very rewarding experience. It teaches us to be patient and persevere to work hard. Though we basically depend on nature and to our environment. Our profession as a farmer involves tough work, but it contributes to food security. What is good of a farmer is that we don't need to worry what food on our table the next morning. It's already there in our backyard. However, we have been hit most of the time by heavy rainfall and typhoons, and the damage done to crops and some of our livestock is sometimes very frustrating too. There are times it's hard for us to recover for our losses. By then, we learn to adapt to change our way of farming. We can no longer assume the seasons will be the same. What we usually do for our 2 years of farming experience, we tried several farming adventures. Then finally, we focused to ruminant animals. As you can see now, our cows. The rains are very unusual. Last year we planted rice, and sad to say, we cannot earn from it. Then we shipped the corn, it went bad too. We can feel the changing weather conditions. When it's cold, it's very cold. Then when it's hot, it's really hot. And when it's rain, it is pretty eventually scary too. Our place in Tium, Batak, Ilocos Norte, we do not have access to irrigation, so we can only plant rice during the rainy seasons or corns. But then the climate change is really challenging for us. That was the main reason we ventured to ruminant animals. And now, as you can see, thanks God, it's pretty progressing. What you are seeing now is our fattening cows. What we usually give them to make them growing quickly and can help them get fat is we usually give them the grain supplement. We give them also a feeds and hay. Uh, Hay can provide every important nutrients for cattle, but it has to be picked at the height of its nutrient richness. So it is pretty challenging though to feed them. What I observe, we fed 3 times per day, which they usually consume more feed and had greater daily grains. Our fattening cows are fed with corn to get them more calories. The reason we feed them more on corn instead of grass is to help them reach the maximum weight. Be careful though in feeding too much corn to cows, because what we observe, the most common problem is they can be having a hard time to digest it. So the most common problem will be bloating. Raising our cows is just like raising our children. We fell in love every day. It gives us a lot of inspiration, and they are such a good kind of our stress reliever. During rainy season, we usually feed them with hay or dayami. Since it's rainy season now, and as you can see, the surroundings is more greener, we used to let them out, and our heifer and the calves are usually the one we used to feed with grass. Our farming adventure is eventually helping us to relax, and the most important is appreciating the beauty of nature. Life in a farm is very exciting, and it's really a priceless profession for us to be proud of. The natural resources is abundant around the world, but it's not equally distributed at all. Here in the Philippines, we are having a lot of challenging experience as a farmer. In most places in the world where people have settled, the land continues to be used for agricultural purposes such as farming. Soil and vegetations have a direct impact on which of those activities the people living in a region can perform, and they have been well supported by their governments. As you can imagine, the impact of human activities on soil and vegetation is very important. What makes us similar to some people in the world but different from most others is that the culture. Our Filipino culture is completely unique to anyone else. Different culture may choose from a variety of methods to meet their basic needs. Some groups simply raise enough food or animals to meet their need to eat, but have little left over to sell to others. In other areas, market-oriented agriculture produces crops or animals that farmers sell to markets. Until then, and please subscribe and happy farming Philippines.